Hello, and welcome to episode number 22 of the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast. In this episode, I'm going to talk about something that is so amazing that I almost can't even believe how well it works, and that is earthing. I'm going to talk about how earthing can improve your health. So, you might not have heard of the word earthing. Another word for this is grounding. You probably have heard of grounding. Whatever you call it, the activity is the same. It's letting your bare feet touch the earth. So, this is a practice where you put a part of your body in contact with the Earth's surface. This can be any part of your body and any surface, but it is obviously most easily done with bare feet. This is definitely the easiest and most convenient method. This can help ground you, and that provides a long list of healing benefits for your body, mind, and your soul. If you haven't heard of this before, it might sound silly, but it is actually very therapeutic and something you can do just about anywhere as long as you can handle the weather. So, I live in the north where it's cold half of the year. So, I can't really do this from like November until April because the ground is covered with snow. Now, if you are the kind of person that likes cold and you can handle that, and if you live in the cold area, then you can go outside. I mean, obviously it works. It would work amazing in the snow actually because it's snow is wet, and if the ground is wet, it helps to conduct the energy better. So if you can go in water or sand, wet sand works great too. These are the best. It does work when you just stand on the dirt or the grass, but I have found that it works so much better in water. And I will explain that in a little bit here. So I want to answer the question first. What part of the earth do you have to stand on to make this work? It can mean any organic surface. So by organic, that is any natural surface like dirt, grass, sand, water. It doesn't work quite as well when you stand on concrete, but I do believe that does work. But of course, you want to go for something that's not man-made if you can help it. And like I said, you will most likely notice better results when water is involved, whether it's actual water or just like moist sand or dirt or grass that's been wet. Especially after a thunderstorm, this is the best time to go outside and stand in the grass. This is because water is a good conductor for the Earth's grounding energy. So, if you don't have much time, even grounding for a few minutes is better than nothing, but you will notice better results the longer you do it. I have heard people ask this question many times. How much time do you need for it to work? It's not that it doesn't work or does work in any length of time, it's that it works better the more you do it. So, think about how our ancestors used to be. They did not have shoes. They ran around on the earth with, there was no flooring because they didn't have houses. It was 24/7 for them. And that is why they didn't have a lot of the health issues that we have now. And this is something that's been remedied by a couple of companies out there that are creating shoes that are conductive of the earth's energy, and they're not blocking them with rubber. Rubber is usually what blocks them. So anytime you're wearing rubber-heeled shoes, that's blocking the energy. And of course, anytime you're in a car, because the rubbers on the road will block, the tires on the road will block the energy. So I've never actually done it for a little bit of time and noticed a difference, because what I use to gauge whether or not this works for me is how well I sleep, because I don't have any pain. I've never had any pain in my body that I can tell if this would work on, because pain is one of the things that this will help with, that I've heard from people that have had it work for them. But like I said, I don't have any pain, so I wouldn't notice anything, of course. So I do notice that I sleep better. My cycle is more aligned with the circadian rhythm, like it's supposed to be, when I do earthing. And like I said, especially if it's water. So the most absolute best thing, and this is what really sold me on the idea of earthing, was walking along the beach and standing in the water and the wet sand. And I did that for the first time that I realized that this worked for me. I did it for hours. It was probably 4 or 5 hours. It might have even been more. And then I noticed that I was getting tired earlier, which is normal. You want to get tired around 10 p.m., well after the sun goes down, at least. And so this is something that I've been struggling with my whole life, was getting tired early. I was actually diagnosed with delayed sleep phase disorder. So that means that I was never tired until, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And then of course I couldn't get up early because I didn't get enough sleep. And this is the rhythm that my body would align to. And that's why it's a disorder, because it's not healthy to go to bed that late. According to Ayurveda, the best times to sleep are 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., give or take a little bit depending on your body type. Some people can get up earlier, some people need the extra sleep, but in my case, I thought nothing was going to help me. And after I found out what earthing was and I heard that it helps with sleep, I tried it. Well, it wasn't even that I tried it on purpose, actually. I was staying at a hotel that had a beach connected to it. Like, the backyard of the hotel was a beach, a lake. And so I love being in nature, of course. So I stood in it, walked around in it, and it was just amazing. And so I did that for a couple hours, and that was the first time in my life that I noticed that I was actually tired when I was supposed to be. And I think it was actually after that that I learned that that was one of the benefits. And so now I'm going to go into the benefits of earthing. And that is the only benefit that I have experienced, only because I don't really have these other problems that they say that you can get benefits from. So the first one is anxiety. So any type of anxiety and stress. Actually, I do notice that difference, because this is something that nature alone can do. Even if you are wearing shoes, you can be out in nature and experience a reduction in anxiety and stress. But I think it works better if you are actually on the earth. There is something magical about feeling the earth under your bare feet. So then the other benefit is improving sleep, and that's the one that I have experience with. Helps to reduce chronic pain, helps to reduce inflammation, helps relieve, it eases muscle tension. So this is a good thing to do before you go to bed, obviously, because all of these things are things you want to reduce before bed. You don't want to have tight muscles. You don't want to have anxiety or stress or pain. So if there's any good time of the day to do this, it would definitely be before bed. And earthing also regulates your blood pressure, and so that gives you better circulation. And better circulation I think that might be tied in with why it relieves pain. So this is this is something that I learned about when I watched the movie. There's a movie about earthing. It's called Grounding, I think it's called. I've got a link to it on my blog post, which I will link to that. It's on YouTube for free. And so in that video, or in that documentary, it was about the guy that discovered how much it works for pain. And so if you are someone who suffers from chronic pain, you might want to watch that movie to get some extra motivation and inspiration and some tips on how to make it work for you when it comes to pain. So now I'm going to talk about how you can do this when you are indoors. This is not ideal, but you can also do earthing indoors. So the way that you can do this is to buy earthing mats, or they also make earthing bedding and some things that you can like wrap around your arm, and then it attaches. These things will attach to your electric plug-in, your outlet. So this does sound kind of weird, and I'm not even quite sure how that works, but you need to have a grounding cord, the grounding hole. You know how there's the 3 prongs in the electrical outlet? If you only have 2, this won't work. It needs the 3rd one. It needs to have that grounding hole. So if there is bad weather outside, or if you can't get outside long enough, or if it's the winter, that is when you should buy these earthing mats and these earthing sheets. And those are on the website earthing.com. If you go there, you can buy those. I haven't been on the site in a couple years, but I know they're always working on improving their products and creating more gadgets to people to use indoors. So that's one way that you can do it. Although I have to say, I did buy the bedding and I didn't really notice a difference from that. But I will say though, at the time when I did try those, I was working the overnight shift, the overnight hours. So I think it would have taken a lot more extra to get my body to switch. It wasn't just as easy as having the earthing helping it. But if you do have a somewhat normal schedule, then the earthing will help you to sleep normal hours. So there really isn't anything more to say. That's just it's it's just telling you what it is and the benefits of it and how you can do it. So from here on out, if you want to learn any more, I would definitely recommend going to earthing.com and also watching Grounding, the Grounding documentary on YouTube and get some more information. I'm just here to be the messenger of all these awesome things that I learned that help you be healthier. So, I'd like to thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I hope that you got some inspiration to try earthing for yourself. And I hope to have you on board again for the next episode.